Can we increase the speed at which we create new strains of biological systems by blasting the seeds and the entire generations of plant life with radiation? That is, can we make super corn and super rice in only a few generations by exposing it to massive amounts of radiation? Mutations are mutations after all. Somebody done this since the comic book character known as Hulk is in a similar mode of thought, and it's an old comic. Yes, it is, and people are making experiments all the time on this subject. I have actually prepared a couple of papers for you. We're going to look at them in a minute, but the answer to this question is yes, we can. All right. We'll address the second question slightly later, but yeah, for example, this one is 2015. As you can see, they're not even using plants, they're actually blasting like mammalian cells with it, right? So here they show that the frequency of la 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 is significantly elevated in offspring of exposed fathers. So that is if male, what is it, mice? I think, yeah, laboratory mice. So male mice were exposed to ionizing radiation, and their offspring also showed some mutations because of this. All right. Well, you can read this in more detail if you wish. Okay. Then we have bacteria, Escherichia coli, with UV radiation, evolution experiment. For 28 days, it was found to increase the speed of mutation, that is, blah blah blah, and the spectrum of mutations was broader. That is, you know, like you get mutations in places you would never, like, not never, but you would rarely get under normal conditions, so to speak, right? So yeah, UV radiation also increases mutations. Then here we have fruit crops. What do they say? Exactly what you say about Hulk, right? Genetic improvement of fruits like super corn. Corn is not a fruit, I think, is it? Whatever. Many useful traits: plant size, blooming size, fruit ripening, blah 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 blah. So yeah, you can do that. Alright. Then we have proton and alpha particles in human cells. Alright. We were interested in the mutagenic effects of particle radiation. Modest changes in mutation spectra and distribution. This paper actually says that there isn't a whole lot of difference between the irradiated cells and not irradiated cells. Overall, the mutational effects appear subtle, okay? So that's why I'm saying that, you know, actually living near the nuclear power plant or whatever is not that dangerous. Like, doesn't seem like human cells are affected that much. I mean, unless you get, how do you call it? Like acute radiation disease or whatever it's called in English, right? Unless you get that, you're fine. You're fine with being exposed to radiation. But whatever, probably some mutations would happen anyway, right? Then we have this. As you can see, it's already 2024. And they did what? I think it was mice as well. Murine in humans. So mice and humans, right? So their findings suggest that an exposure, this is 1 gray by the way, 1 joule per kilogram of ionizing radiation, it causes an average of blah blah blah. I'm not sure what GB, is it gigabyte or whatever, I don't know. Events, blah blah blah. So yes, the rate is increased, right? Our study highlights a comprehensive and clear picture of ionizing radiation effects on normal mammalian genomes, and you can read it, it's free. Okay, open access, as you can see. And interestingly, even low frequency electromagnetic field can also alter your genome. So what they did here is 50 hertz. That's what we have in our electric grids, and they did like the how do you call it? Basically, like 50 hertz vibration of the magnetic field with the amplitude of 2 microtesla, which is about 4% of the Earth's magnetic field, up to 300 microtesla, which is what 6 times the Earth's magnetic field. But they've vibrated it with the frequency of 50 hertz, right? And they took some plants, and what they found was that significantly enhanced number of nucleotide substitutions, that is mutations essentially, of plants directly affected by this field. So it's kind of insane actually, right? So yeah, short answer, I mean you can read all these papers if you wish. But short answer to your question, yes, we can increase, we can create new strains, etc. with radiation. However, as you can probably guess, these mutations are random, or at least mostly random. I mean, there are probably places in the DNA more susceptible to mutations than others, but anyways, it's mostly random. So, to make super corn and super rice in only a few generations, as you say here, we probably wouldn't be super happy with random processes, right? We need some sort of directed evolution, if you wish, all right? So yeah, I mean, if you make like 100 billion samples and you blast all of them with the same radiation, maybe in one of them a useful mutation will happen. But maybe you wouldn't even understand it. I mean, I'm not even sure if corn and rice are sequenced properly. Like whether we understand what every gene does, and what changes to it would do accordingly. So, probably what I'm saying is probably other techniques would be more useful to this end, to making super corn or super rice or superhumans for this matter, right? So maybe techniques like this proverbial CRISPR or whatever else would be more useful. So yeah, this would be my idea. But fundamentally, of course, radiation, as you can see, even not very powerful, not very strong radiation can alter your genome, apparently, at least as follows from these papers. Of course, these papers could be wrong. Now we know that science is, kind of sus sometimes, but whatever.